So I directed a film back in 2021 called Black Men in White Coats.
Right.
And the film talked about the lack of black men in healthcare, but we wanted to go down that pipeline and to talk about the lack of black kids going into STEM in general. And there was a Dr. Mark Neve, and he talked about the bigotry of low expectations. And he says whether it's a black boy in third grade or a black boy in sixth grade, like it's okay if you get a 60 in math. Like that's what you're supposed to do, right? It's almost this bigotry in the low expectations. And I remember from our phone call when you talked about the kids succeeding at Townview, you were just like, we set the highest expectations and they met them, right?
Yes, sir.
So I just want you to talk about that phrase, maybe the bigotry of low expectations. Have you heard that before? What do you think about that? And what was you all's mindset around setting those high expectations for those students at Townview? And those are inner city kids and they hit those expectations. So I just want to talk about that.
Yeah. So man, good point. So I've heard of the term, yes, but secondarily to that, it starts at the home level, right? So what the parents expect out of the students or the kids at home will oftentimes be what happens in transitions onto school, right? Now, if you look at Townview is a little bit of a different dynamic, right? One, you have 6 high schools inside of one center, right? And 2 of those high schools that are inside that center and Townview TAG or Talented and Gifted High School are still 2 of the top high schools in the country. My school is number 3 in the country, right? But in the state of Texas, they normally will fall within 1 through 5, right? Every single year. So when you look at the expectations of inner city kids who are black and brown, right? You think, okay, how are they going to perform in a school like this? It has the expectation is that you get mostly all A's. The expectation is you're not competing against who gets the most football, basketball scholarships, right? When I was going to school at Townview or SEM, right? It was more like, so did you get into MIT? Who got into Harvard, right? Who got into Stanford? Who got into Yale or whatever, right? Who got into the military academies, right? And so when your conversation changes from athletic lens to an academic lens, things start to change because the culture is different. They always say that you're like average of the 5 people around you. Well, if you have 5 people around you at Townview, right, that are taking 8 AP courses, right? I was a freshman at 12 years old. I graduated when I turned 16. And my senior year of high school, I had 8 AP courses, right? Wow. So you can imagine, I was like a little turtle, had my backpack on, right? And it was like, man, this is a lot of weight. But I was up till like 2 o'clock in the morning every day doing homework. But you see, normal kids are not in a race to do that. They're in a race to like, man, I scored so many points on the game tonight. We're more so like, okay, well, how many tests did we pass or how many AP courses, how many AP tests did we take, right? Or what did we get on the standardized exams, right? That's a whole nother story. And so when you look at that, individuals who come around a culture of thought or a school of thought around performance from a low perspective are only going to transition that low performing thought to their peers and who they surround themselves with. Now, but you think about the parents though. The parents did not come from either an affluent background or they weren't exposed to a lot of things, right? Well, what are they going to put on their kids? Well, you can just be this. Why don't we transition the school of thought and language to you are, I am. Like I have a 3-year-old daughter, right? When I want her to continue growing up, you are the best at this. You are the best at that. You are able to do these things, right? So we don't put mindsets and thoughts into our kids that they're possibly going to do something. We put the mindset of they are going to do something. They are the best. They are the GOAT. So doing that on a consistent basis, that dynamic instills a sort of confidence into a student in ways that they've never heard. So I say, first off, it starts off at the home. Second of all, once you get to the school, if the school culture is not about success and academic prowess, right? And they focus on sports. We always hear this all the time, right? Kids playing AAU basketball, right? Or they go to these camps and all that. And they're like, I want my kid to go to the league. Okay. I mean, that's cool, right? But that doesn't mean that they're going to the league, right? Let's be real, right? 0.03% of people, I think, even make it to the NFL or the NBA, right? At the end of the day, you got to have a backup plan. So when that happens, what do you do with that? Does the parent then say, oh, well, are we breaking the dreams? No, we're being realistic. Now, academically speaking, we can do more with that. You have athletic scholarships and you have academic scholarships, right? Like when I went to school, I had like $385,000 worth of money to go to school. So I didn't have to pay for none of my degrees. You know what I'm saying? That's what you wanted, right? I made a promise to my parents that said, I'm not going to let you pay for school. And I kept that promise, right? But the school of thought in Townview is that excellence precedes everything. So when you're doing your due diligence in your classes, you don't surround yourself with people that act a fool.
Yeah.
You surround yourself with people that you can rely on that can help you in your academics. I surrounded myself with a network of students and people that could be study partners. And I think the difference is what you learn at home is going to transition over to school. What you learn at school is going to transition over to your performance outside of school. So you have to put all those things together in one trifecta and be able to perform with that. And I think it's a multitude of different things. Your home situation, your parents' expectation on you, your teacher's expectation on you, your peers' expectations on you, and all that matters.